this is where the fun begins.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
This is Rebel Force Radio.
Your source for the Force.
Star Wars news and commentary.
With Jason Swank and Jimmy Mack.
I've seen Star Wars 500 times. Star Wars #1!
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
Now it's time for Rebel Force Radio.
We would be honored if you would join us.
All right, here we go. Rebel Force Radio live with a very special episode. For a very special reason, we got a brand new trailer for the forthcoming Star Wars film Mandalorian and Grogu. We also have poster art, official poster art, that has a lot of people talking because it is, in some ways, it's a very unique look for a Star Wars poster. In other ways, it's sort of reminiscent and sort of nostalgic of posters of old, not just Star Wars, but movie posters, noir, very retro vibes coming from that. But what everybody is talking about is that trailer. Now, it's not the very first trailer that we've seen. If you were at Star Wars Celebration in Japan earlier this year, you did see a very special sizzle reel. We even played it here on Rebel Force Radio as we were covering Star Wars Celebration Japan. And there's been a lot of comparisons being drawn between this official trailer and that trailer that only existed for the people there at the time, or if you were watching Rebel Force Radio and we had our sources and we got it. So there's a lot of talk about what was shown there, what's not shown in this trailer. But we're going to break it all down for you, like I said, on this very special Rebel Force Radio Live. We're live for everybody. This isn't just for Patreon. We are out across all of YouTube. So please, if you're within the sound of our voices, when the number comes on the screen, give us a call. We want to hear what you think. And by we, I'm talking about, of course, if introductions are in order. My name is Jason, and with me, as always, my good friend and yours from Chicago, Jimmy Mack.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Star Wars fans. We're glad to be back here live, streaming live. When was the last time we did this? Final episode of Andor, season 2, season finale. I think that was. But rolling right off of Rancho Obi-Wan, which was the ultimate live event because we were surrounded by 140, 150 of our Rebel Force Radio audience members and members of the Rancho Obi-Wan family. You know, it seems like we just are picking up right where we left off, as far as I'm concerned. Would love to do more live shows. And we'll see about that in between now and the release of The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is happening May 22nd. And we're already getting the first teaser trailer now. I'm glad they're starting to lean on some marketing for this film. Sure, we saw footage out at Star Wars Celebration Japan, but real marketing to let the general public know that, yeah, there is a Star Wars film coming next year. And that's why, you know, it was so curious last week when Sean Levy revealed the very first location photo from Star Wars Starfighter. So we're starting to see some hype for that develop even before the official marketing push for The Mandalorian and Grogu happens. So it's kind of like this cornucopia of Star Wars super hype going on here. And Rebel Force Radio is ready to jump on that bandwagon. As a matter of fact, we're going to drive the train all the way till May 22nd and The Mandalorian and Grogu open up, while still anticipating things like Ahsoka Season 2 and, of course, Star Wars Starfighter, all in production at the same time. 3 different major Star Wars productions, all in production at the same time. Mandalorian and Grogu in post-production. Ahsoka Season 2, I think, is still in front of cameras. And we obviously know Star Wars Starfighter has begun shooting. So when was the last time that ever happened? Ever? I don't think so.
No, I don't think you've ever had... you've had concurrent films in different stages of production, but we're talking about a trilogy there. We're talking about the sequel trilogy. You throw in like a Rogue One in there, but we're talking about like 3 different timelines also. So not only, Jim, are you seeing marketing for these stories. But for the general audience, I got to tell you, I talk to them all the time. They don't know. They know it's Star Wars, but they don't know, is Darth Vader alive in this? I hear that all the time. You know, is Darth Vader going to show up in this? You know, he's the marquee face and name when it comes to Star Wars still after almost 50 years. That seems to be sort of the character that tells them where they are. It orients sort of the muggles, I find. Is Darth Vader?
Oh, I see.
You know, is Darth Vader going to show up?
Well, so obviously this film needs a very healthy marketing push.
It sure does.
Here we are, half year away from it. It's essential that marketing push begins now, because we saw how flaccid the marketing was for the Solo film. And we also saw how that resulted in box office numbers and general audience apathy. So it's very important that the marketing machine kicks into full gear, and kicks into full gear right away for Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, I mean, this is a unique situation for Lucasfilm Disney because, like you pointed out, they have pulled, the throttle back on what you would consider sort of the traditional marketing. This goes back to the arrogance of Bob Iger when he was talking about opening up Galaxy's Edge. All I got to do is walk out my front door and say it's open, and all you goofballs just desperate and salivating for anything Star. He didn't say that, but you know what I'm saying, are going to show up.
He didn't say that, but he was thinking it. You can read between the lines, Yeah, right. He meant it.
But this is an opportunity for them to leverage really the most popular Star Wars character in decades, Grogu. And one of the first thoughts I had, and we'll get into it when we talk about this trailer, is I felt like the what was shown at Star Wars Celebration Japan was for the hardcore Star Wars fans, and this trailer is for the families and the kids. That's my thinking, and that's smart marketing. I mean, you think about Return of the Jedi, and what if you had a trailer that came out and focused on Salacious Crumb and funny lines between the droids and the Ewoks. But then you could have another trailer that focused on Luke and Vader and the space battle. So it is smart to let people know that you've got a film that has something in it for everybody. And that is part of the magic of Star Wars. It had something in it for everybody. Mom, dad, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa, everyone could enjoy it. So I'm definitely not willing to say, oh, this is a kid's movie. I've seen some of that comments. Oh, there it is. Throw in the towel. It's a kiddie movie. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Certainly from what we saw at Celebration Japan, it's intense. There's a lot of intense moments. This trailer, as we'll get into, a little less intense.
And also, as things have developed in the editing process, as they prepare this film for release next year, some of the things they've shown at Star Wars Celebration Japan may have ended up on the cutting room floor. Perhaps to make way for Gina Carano's scenes as Cara Dune, which they're shooting right now. No, I don't know about that.
All right, 708-866-1737. That's the number to call Jimmy Mack right now for all you Gina Carano fans out there and you non-fans. Well, hey, let's start here and let's talk a little bit about this poster because Jim, iconic Star Wars posters. I mean, iconic posters in Star Wars are synonymous. They go together. And this one, I got to tell you, it took me a few minutes to kind of adjust my eyes because at first I was like, okay, this looks like kind of a fan-made poster. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about it because, I mean, first of all, we definitely see a painted look. All right, that's nothing new. You got your guys like Drew Struzan, Tom Jung. These are artists that have made Star Wars posters for the last half century, and we've seen painted looks for Star Wars posters. We've also seen a lot of collage layouts. What's really throwing me is this retro typography that feels very pulpy, very Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, putting the release date on the poster right underneath the title treatment. And this is what really killed me. Starring up in the top right, starring Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin and Grogu as himself. I mean, it reads like, and Clark Gable as Rhett Butler and the next big hit of 1941, whatever. It's very old-timey, but I kind of dig it. I got to say, I kind of dig it because I see what they're going for. What were some of your first impressions with this poster?
The first things I thought of, I was like, wow, interesting, very retro, but yet still kind of with a modern vibe. The typography is very reminiscent of some of the thriller serials of the 40s and the Pulp Fiction, but look at those A's. I mean, there's something kind of modern about it too. It's a really interesting typeface and something which I think is uniquely its own. And I think this poster tells all of the things that all of the terminology you were using to describe this poster. I find it to be a virtue, and it's the reasons why I like this poster.
Gotcha.
I love the retro vibes, and Star Wars has always sort of had a retro vibe when it's working correctly. Nobody would deny the original in 1977 didn't have all of the vibes of the early serials like Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, and the thrill of Westerns like The Searchers and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that. I mean, it is a poster after all.
Sure.
But yeah, sure. They're trying to set a vibe for the type of experience they are hoping they achieve when we have our butts in the theaters next May. And that is to promote this action adventure. Ooh, the two Hutts are back.
Yeah.
Look at them there. The two Hutt twins from Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, they're back. This is honestly, I'm still soaking this in. It's also fresh. And I have to admit, I didn't put this poster under a microscope until this very moment. This is the first time I'm seeing the Hutt twins from Book of Boba Fett, along with the Beatles of Babu Frick back there. You have John George, Ringo, and Paul right behind them. And they'll be producing there'll be a musical number, obviously, with those guys in their band. But I think they're called Anzellans, is what you call those little Babu Frick.
Right.
And you have Baby Yoda, of course, right next to Zebarelios, Garazeb, formerly, and he's going to be a presence in the film. Mando riding a single one of those scout open wheel scout walkers that they had in the prequel films. Now it's back in Mandalorian and Grogu, and he's he got Grogu there shotgun with him. I do dig the painted look of this poster. I love just the overall vibe of action. Is that Mandalorian there facing off against that creature?
Sure looks like it because he's got his disintegrator rifle there.
He has that back, which was destroyed in season 2 with the Razor Crest.
Yeah,
which is also back. So when we get into the trailer, we'll discuss all that. Now that creature he's facing off against kind of looks like an Acklay from Attack of the Clones. Kind of. I mean, it's so stylized and just blurry because I think it's supposed to promote like movement and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's
looks like maybe there's a cave it might be coming out of. And a lot of people in the chat, I was going to get to this here in a second, but with all the different connections and the things that this evokes, Indiana Jones is clearly at the top of a lot of people's minds. The color palette, the oranges, the yellows, the earth tones, which is not typically a palette that Star Wars embraces. Star Wars is usually darker colors, blacks, whites, yellows, very bold colors, reds. This is a little more earthy, and I like it. But the orange look of it definitely has me thinking Indiana Jones. And this tagline, again, this is something you don't see on movie posters a lot anymore. And I couldn't help, Jim, but think about Tom Kane. If you're searching for new adventures, this is the way. I think we need it.
Great Tom. Yeah. Yeah, shame he's not around to, well, he is around.
Right.
He's just not able to, the voice has been silenced. And every
Yeah.
time I hear his name, I get stricken with a great deal of sadness because he was a wonderful talent and a great guy. And we had some really killer late nights with that man.
Good dude.
Great
you
dude.
mentioned the Razor Crest. So here it is up here. We'll see it in the trailer. Some people saying that it's got to be a new one. They think it's larger than the original, and this is not a rebuild. But yeah.
Well, there's nothing left to rebuild, folks.
Right. Well, right.
I mean, really, he can go to as many Jawa sand crawlers for assistance, but he'll never get any help.
Talk about 52 pickup. I mean, my God.
It was dust. The only thing left was his Beskar spear. Everything else was ash. So, that's what happens, when Moff Gideon opens fire from orbit on your starship.
The last thing I want to mention about the poster, Jim, here is the way Grogu is being billed. This reminds me of the Muppet movie when the effects, the Muppets, the puppets were billed as themselves. Kermit the Frog as himself, Miss Piggy as herself. It also has me thinking about when we talked to Anthony Daniels about those early days of the original Star Wars, and they wanted the public to think that 3PO and R2 were themselves. They were robots. They weren't actors putting their, putting a performance out there for people. So it's kind of like we're back to this, like this suspension of disbelief that they want us to buy into the fact that it's not a bunch of creatives with joysticks and controllers and latex. It is Grogu.
Yeah,
Just
Grogu. It is Grogu. I mean, there is no single individual who could take credit for Grogu at this point. It's a mad workshop of many different creative minds behind bringing Grogu to life. Sometimes he looks just really like a puppet, though. I gotta say, there are times when Grogu looks very puppety. And we know a lot about working with puppets, for crying out loud. Anybody who saw the RFR Rancho Obi-Wan show, I mean, the stuff me and Jason saw behind the scenes as we were trying to bring Puppet Land to life. I mean, there was some legitimate human sacrifice going on there. And I
think I saw
there is some behind the scenes footage. I want to release a Tyler shot of Puppet Lando rehearsing from earlier in the day, and I got to put that up on the Patreon page.
Yeah, and please don't show the kids because it just ruins everything for them when they see the way the magic is made. But if you're curious, but
I do think that sometimes I don't know if they're trying to make him look like a puppet, but he does, and I hate that because I love Baby Yoda so much, and I never really felt that in the first 2 seasons of the show. But by the 3rd season, when he's training with those Mandalorians on the beach and he's doing those flips, and based on some of the footage we see in the trailer itself, I get this real sense of puppet from Baby Yoda.
They're not, I don't think they're trying to hide it. I think they see that as a plus.
They almost want to make him seem like a puppet. Say, look, he's there, actually on the set with the actors interacting.
Right.
All right. I don't want, you know what? I'm just hearing myself talk about this. I feel like I'm pulling back the curtain too much and revealing my own, revealing all the Hollywood magic to myself. It's almost ruining it. So I just want to stop talking about it and move on, because I don't ever want to consider Grogu to be a puppet. He is Grogu.
He is Grogu.
And that's
the
what
poster says it.
with this poster. The poster says so. So what am I prattling on about? Grogu as himself.
Right.
That's TFU, Jimmy Mac. I mean, that's really what's the message. I'm going to reel it back a little bit. He never looks like a puppet. He looks 100% Grogu.
Totally real. Totally Grogu. So we definitely want to know what you all think about the poster. I would say that it, like anything else these days, right? It's mixed reviews. It's a mixed bag. I haven't spent a lot of time looking and seeing what the internet is saying, because I wanted to be able to come on here and deliver my thoughts completely unencumbered by the thoughts of others. But this is the time where we want to hear from you. So we'll get that number up. We don't have the switchboard open yet, but stay tuned. In just a little bit, we will. But we've got this trailer we want to get through. And Jim, should we go for it? You want to do it right now?
Oh, I would love to. Let's do our patented frame by frame. And something I was previewing it earlier with my son Dylan, and he gave me this great suggestion. If you hit settings on the YouTube, you can slow that sucker down to like 25%. And at certain times, it comes in very handy when reviewing a trailer like this one, which really goes at you rapid fire after a while. So if you ever think about it, just we need to slow it down. Hit that 25%. You hit
Is that
settings.
for me, or is that the people at home?
No, that's for you.
Oh, that's for me.
I'm giving this actual direction I'm giving here on the show.
Oh yeah,
So-
I don't use YouTube because I like to make sure that
you have
it's a
it.
local
Okay,
copy
all right.
downloaded, because I don't want to rely on YouTube just in case.
Oh wait, what was your question again? Was that for you or for the general audience? It was
Yeah.
for the general.
Oh, okay.
Definitely for the general audience. If you're watching the trailer, you can slow it down. You know what? I've been watching YouTube since the day it debuted. I had no idea it had a super slow function.
I didn't know
I mean,
that
I just
either.
never even looked for anything like that. And
Yeah,
boy, is
I
that a
wouldn't have
lot
thought
of
to.
fun when you're watching the trailer to slow it down. But you have to turn the volume down on your speakers, because not only does it slow down the picture, it
slows down the
obviously
audio.
the audio. And so it's just like, it's like
Okay, well, let's do it. Let's pop it up here and go, as Max said, frame by frame, and we can pause and stop as much as we want.
So before we even go further, I mean, could this be that same beach planet that the Mandalorians were all hanging out on during season 3 when they were training out on the beach and everything? That's the first thought that popped into my head. Remember, they fought that big sea creature. And
Yes.
the giant birds were snatching up Mandalorian.
They were taking the children.
Yeah. But I was wondering, is this the same beach? Is this what's going on here? And then as we progress, we see coming into the frame, very familiar looking starship that we've been missing for a few years now. It is the Razor Crest with modifications, obviously. I don't think this is the same Razor Crest. It has the yellow, some yellow plating on it, which makes it kind of match up with the N1 Naboo starfighter that Din was flying around in Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian Season 3. It's almost as if they're trying to maintain a little bit of that continuity with this ship, and kind of blending the Naboo starfighter together with the Razor Crest to say, hey, this has a connection to Mandalorian that you already know, but it is a brand new ship. So they're going to differentiate it. That's what they do in Star Wars now. Like Boba Fett comes back, and he's like, has an all black undersuit, it's like, so it's like, this is the new Boba Fett, not the old Boba Fett.
And I don't remember the classic Razor Crest having that big ass end on it. It has a bigger section on the back end than the other one did. The other one was cut off. He's got longer tail.
Maybe he's got some like speeder bikes packed back there, or maybe even he's got that N1 starfighter packed in the back of that thing.
Maybe it's like a hybrid.
Needed, if needed, he can jump into that thing, much like the Ghost with their little Spectre ship that would shoot out the back. Maybe he's got enough room in this larger Razor Crest to house his N1 starfighter and bust that out if necessary. We don't see it in this trailer because they want to keep that as a surprise.
Yeah. All right. So that's going across.
Other things, wait, no, stop. I can't.
I
haven't exhausted all my Razor Crest talk. Because the thing is like the Razor Crest is back. WTF? Like we said, it was blown to bits. ash. And
But it's not the Razor Crest.
Well, what if he calls it the Razor Crest? And what if they don't even, it's one of those things that Star Wars narration has been doing over the last few years where it's a just because situation where we don't even see how he reacquires a Razor Crest. We don't even see it. The movie just begins and he's flying it, and it never gets revealed how he reacquired a Razor Crest.
Or it's like when they bring in a completely different actor to play a part. Like this is the other Darren on Bewitched. They're just going to call it the Razor Crest as if we don't notice that it's different. But this is so different.
With Balin's Skull. That's what's going to happen with Balin's Skull.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. We'll see that next year. But we haven't seen the Razor Crest since it was destroyed in Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 6, The Tragedy. And that's when Moff Gideon obliterated the ship via turbo laser from his cruiser. And, it's just, I want to know. I don't want this to be a just because. I want to know how this sucker got his ship back. And yeah, it's not the same ship, obviously. But where did he get the Razor Crest from? He just can't show up in it. Now, did we see any Razor Crest footage?
Wait a minute. I got something right here. You know what they're going to call it? The Lego's already out. It's being solicited to stores now. It's called Din Djarin's Starfighter.
Yes, a.k.a. the Slave 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, I mean, we really need to get this story. We really need to. And so my question is, if you can recall the Star Wars Celebration Japan footage, was the Razor Crest featured in any of that footage? I don't think it was. Or was it?
I thought there was a lot of buzz about the crest is back. I think we've been talking about the crest being back for a while.
Simply because of the fact that Disney upgraded the Smuggler's Run Millennium Falcon ride at the Disney parks. And it includes footage featuring the Razor Crest flying around Cloud City. And so naturally fans started to think, well, the Razor Crest is going to be back in Mandalorian and Grogu. At least this fan felt that way. And
what was it in what is it in Star Tours? What was it? Was it
not Star Tours, the Millennium Falcon ride.
Oh, the Millennium Falcon ride. Okay. But was it the new Razor Crest or was it the old Razor Crest?
Well, that's a good question. I haven't been on the ride. I've only seen just screen grabs.
Because I think this thing looks very different from the old Razor Crest as I'm looking at it now. Because we're looking at it from front to back.
Well, of course. I mean, yes.
That back end is way different. So
it's hard to keep weight off when you get a little old. You get a little older. It's just the metabolism slows down a little bit, and
right?
this isn't 2020 anymore, Jason. So but so I mean, a lot of speculation. People start saying, "Wow, they're putting Razor Crest, and this is going to be promoting the Mandalorian and Grogu, and it's around Cloud City." Well, we see Cloud City in this film. No clues or indications from this particular trailer, but as Mark Hamill is fond of saying, it's possible.
Yeah.
So those are all my thoughts on the Razor Crest. Okay.
All right.
I've drained Razor Crest conversation. So if you're going to call in later, you got to come up with something fresh about the Razor Crest because I'm spent.
Okay. All right. So we got the Razor Crest flying across the beach here. And all right, here we got Grogu using some sort of scope, some sort of telescope. Those aren't macro binoculars. It looks like a singular nocular. And he's checking out some stormtroopers. Maybe.
Well, just because of what you just said. I mean, Grogu is looking through a telescope, and they immediately cut to what we assume is more of a macro binocular viewpoint. Yeah. It's stereo vision. It's not mono. If Grogu was looking at this, it would just be a single circle. This is two parts of an orb connected to make it look like it's more of stereo vision, not just like mono vision. So I'm assuming this is from different parts of the movie.
Oh, so this is creative editing here.
Yes. They're watching Stormtroopers. And I do want to point out there's still Imperial era not yet First Order troopers. You know, I'm anticipating a moment in time when we get a Star Wars live action story, or maybe animated, who knows, where we actually start to see the evolution from Imperial Stormtrooper into the new First Order trooper helmets and things like that. I mean, they've given us that sort of evolution in shows like The Bad Batch, where they actually introduce the Macquarie concept trooper into canon and show the transition from that into the TKs, the Imperial troopers we're so familiar with from the original trilogy. But I anticipate a time when we're going to start to see a transition here post original trilogy, pre sequel trilogy, where we'll actually start to get a sense of that transition from Imperial Stormtrooper helmets into the First Order troopers.
All right. So Grogu's taking a look here. They're clearly on a mission. They spot the stormtroopers as they're stalking that area, or who knows? Maybe that's Din using macro.
Well, I mean, the way they present it to us, it certainly makes it seem like.
Oh, looky here! Looky here! We got a Babu Frick. We got an Anzellan. Yes. So, and we've seen them before in Mandalorian. So it's established, and they have a pre-established routine, a bit that they do with the baby. And so that definitely is coming back here, because why not? It's funny. It's cute. Got to do it.
Yeah. And what we see right here is one of the Babu Fricks leading Baby Yoda through what appears to be a sewer. And so, you know, it seems like we go to this locale a few times throughout the trailer. And of course, all the Babu Fricks are voiced by Shirley Henderson, who voiced Babu Frick in The Rise of Skywalker, and she was also that toilet person from Harry Potter. That's I always remember that. Anyway. Yeah, she lived in a toilet. Yeah, right. She was like Spook that lived in a toilet.
Yeah.
And then she moves on to being Babu Frick. I mean, this is one hell of a resume.
She gets a little fresh with Harry Potter in that bathtub too. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
anyway,
I somehow have absolutely zero memory of any of that except for the toilet. That's all I remember.
Just the toilet.
I mean, really, that's all I remember from that whole show.
Wow, what a shame! The whole movie, the whole saga.
No, like there's like 8 movies.
The ghost in the
all
toilet.
All I remember is Shirley Henderson in a toilet.
All right, so we've got the little Babu Frick here, followed by Baby Yoda. All right, wow. And there she is. There is Sigourney Weaver playing Colonel Ward. And this is
now. I've also heard her name to be rumored as Colonel Bishop. So is Ward? Has that been officially announced?
I don't know if it's been official. It's what I'm seeing in some of the various write-ups today.
I've heard the Ward name too. I've heard the Ward name as well. But when it was first revealed that Sigourney was going to be in this film back at Star Wars Celebration Japan. Maybe there were some rumors prior to that. I believe there were. But we were hearing that her name was Bishop. But now all of a sudden this Ward name has popped up. I don't think either name has been officially confirmed.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Just doing a little search in here.
Baby Belushi refers to
IMDb.
Baby Belushi refers to this fabulous actress as Sick Horny Beaver. I just saw it in the chat. Sick Horny Beaver. And there is no bigger Ghostbusters fan than Baby Belushi. And he's Sick Horny. Well, you know.
Yeah, well.
You know what? Now that I'm considering.
It's always a family show until Baby Belushi shows up. And then Mac has to read his
I can't help it. I have to read it out loud. I have to, turn the spotlight on it. Because I love the guy, man. He cracks me up all the time.
So current info is saying that the character is Ward. However, earlier leaks and rumors suggested it might be Bishop, but those seem to have been superseded by official statements and the trailer. So Official
Really?
statements. I'm looking at what StarWars.com posted today,
Interesting.
and I don't see.
Maybe if you watch the video with closed caption on, it refers to her.
That could be.
Ward.
That could
I'm
be.
gonna try to dive into this real quick, see if I can figure this out.
Yeah, the official write-up at StarWars.com says that the Mandalorian Zabarelius is back, featured in poster art that also includes Sigourney Beaver's new character. But there's no name. So if you know, give us a call a little bit. But yeah, there she is, Sigourney Weaver. This is likely the Delphi base, I'm assuming, where we see Teva and Zeb hanging out in previous episodes. Isn't that also on a beachy type planet?
Yes, and that's Delphi, I think,
Yeah.
is what they called the planet, a Delphi base, and that's where Carson Teva hangs, and where
so I don't think that's necessarily. We were talking earlier about maybe that's the planet that we see where the Mandos are hanging out. The Coven is hanging out, and they have those issues with the big pterodactyls or whatever. So I think that's Din showing up to meet with Sick Horny over here.
All right, we are now officially retiring the Sick Horny nomenclature that is being appropriated on our beautiful Sigourney Weaver, and who still looks so damn good. I mean, she is just what a beautiful person she is. I've always
Inside and out, from what I hear. All right.
Huge fan of Sigourney.
Oh, and look who's just how so cute. We got little Grogu. He's coming up on the table because they're a team now. You don't just sit there and meet with Din Djarin. You meet with Din, the Mandalorian, and Grogu, just as the name of the movie implies. And of course, we got to get one of these gags in there where this was in the trailer that we saw, the sizzle reel from Celebration Japan, where Grogu is pulling the food, and she doesn't even look. She knows, which makes me wonder: are we supposed to assume that she's aware? Is she just such a hardened veteran warrior that those instincts kick in, or has she seen these Grogu tricks before? She doesn't have to look. She knows what he's up to.
It seems like there's an air of familiarity going on here amongst this entire interaction, as briefly as we see it. And we know Din became a Ranger of the New Republic at the end of season 3 of The Mandalorian. So I believe that he has been getting sent on various missions. I don't think we're seeing his first mission for the New Republic at the beginning of the film. I think he'll be more of a seasoned Ranger of the New Republic. And you may even see some of the storylines that were developed for that abandoned streaming series come back to life here in this particular film.
So this could be like James Bond style. It opens up. There's a history already, and essentially they're meeting with M. They're meeting with M of the Republic, and they're getting their mission, their latest mission.
I think you're figuring out the exact template for how this film is going to develop. And I believe the film will open with, as we see later in this trailer, this attack on AT-AT walkers. And I really think that will be your big deal that happens. Maybe even a pre-credit sequence if they want to do it like Bond. And then everything is calmed down. They go meet with M, a.k.a. All right, one last time. Sick, horny Weaver.
Now that sounds like a Bond girl right there. That sounds like...
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Move over, Octopussy. Here comes Sick Horny Beaver. Okay. So here she is denying Grogu of his little snacks. Oh, he's so cute. All right, we get the Lucasfilm credit here, just in case you're wondering who's making this movie. Now, this looks like Coruscant to me. This is a brief flash. I don't know. It's giving me... No? Shaking your head.
I'm getting Nar Shaddaa vibes. Nar Shaddaa is a planet that was developed for the expanded universe. It made its debut in some of the early Dark Horse comics for Star Wars, like Dark Empire, and was heavily featured in the great PC video game from back in the day, Dark Forces. Nar Shaddaa, baby. And also, I believe I heard a rumor that's where Din goes to, where he encounters Rada the Hutt, fighting as a gladiator of some sort.
Nar Shaddaa.
Nar Shaddaa, baby. It's like the bounty hunter moon. And it's been very prevalent in all aspects of Star Wars storytelling.
But we've never seen it.
Now, that's a good question. That's a good question. I don't recall, but maybe we did. I think at the beginning of Mandalorian season 2.
When they're at the boxing match or the wrestling match or whatever?
It's like sumo wrestling kind of, and they meet up with
the Gamorreans
character, and that's how the season begins. And so I think that was Nar Shaddaa. Does anybody know? Does anybody in the chat recall that one? Because I'm caught kind of off guard here with that.
I'm seeing we've not seen it on screen.
No.
But what I didn't realize is that it's a moon of Nal Hutta, which is the Hutt home world. This makes all the sense in the world because we're going to be introduced to Rada. So that makes sense. All right. I'm with you that this could be Nar Shaddaa.
Alyssa in the chat says she thought the AT-AT sequence would be in Act 3 of the film and not in the cold open like I just predicted. So, Alyssa, if you got a copy of the script or something, let us know. You seem to have the inside scoop on that. But there's rumors flying around everywhere, so who knows? I find it highly unlikely they're showing anything from Act 3 in the teaser trailer, though. Let me just put that out there.
Yeah. Just getting this on. No, Dayu was in Kenobi.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and it was not, now Nar Shaddaa was not in. Someone's saying that it was in Bad Batch. I do not believe it was in Bad Batch. I would remember Jimmy Mack talking about the.
Gosh, I don't remember. But let's just stay focused on live action right now.
Yeah.
I mean, but there could be some Nar Shaddaa business going on in Bad Batch.
So we're actually seeing as a reflection in a puddle, and it gets stepped on. I don't know if we should assume that this is Mandalorian. Maybe that could be Mando. But then we see him kicking some ass in a diner or a restaurant of some sort. Yeah. Throwing some guy. Oh, look at all that beautiful booze just getting crashed.
This set that they're on reminds me a lot of it looks like it's retrofitted or refitted, I should say. It's a refitted set of that bar that Werner Herzog was hanging out in Mandalorian season 1. Doesn't it kind of have like a similar feng shui layout to it?
Yeah, a little bit.
It almost looks like it's like they took the same set and just redressed it and made it into another place where Jaren could kick everyone's ass.
That very well could be the case. There could be some repurposing of some things here.
It's probably unlikely. Yeah, it just reminded me of just the layout. But I mean, it's a bar room. What are you going to do?
Right.
It's a bar room. You have to have a bar. But it's not the Mos Eisley Cantina. Let me tell you that. And by the way, I've been spending a lot of time assembling that Haslab Mos Eisley Cantina nightmare that they sent me with all the little parts and stuff. What a nightmare that's been. But I've had a lot of fun with it too. For as much as I complain about it, Wendy said to me, she's like, but you're having fun, right? Yeah, I'm having fun. That's all these little pieces though. But one thing I do have to say, and then we're going to move on, but the actual bar itself, the way it's in 4 pieces and the way it connects is weak sauce. It just
really,
yeah.
So you prefer the modular way to display versus connecting it all together?
No, I'm saying the bar.
Oh, the bar.
The bar top.
Oh, okay, I don't like hearing that. I don't like hearing that.
It's U-shaped thing, and it's in 4 parts, and it seems to me it is like integral to the overall, durability of this thing, and it is the weakest connectors between the parts. It falls apart if the breeze barely blows, it'll fall apart. And I'm really upset about that for what they charged. This $450 nightmare they sent to my house.
But you're having fun, right?
I am having fun. I'm in this like such a self-abusive relationship with me and Star Wars. It's disgusting, but it's fun.
All right, so we got Din. He's kicking some ass here in the bar. Look at that. Oh yeah, here comes Grogu out of nowhere, jumping on his back. That's pretty cool. And then this boy did this get a lot of attention and excitement, even from our own Kyle Newman, because we've got an Amana. We've got an Amana. We haven't seen an Amana in Star Wars since Return of the Jedi with Amana Man. And Jimmy Max got the toy.
Of course, I had to get my whole crew of
He's got all the Amanas.
Well, they're called Amana Man, okay? And here they are.
No, Amana Man is not the species. Amana Man is the character.
No, Amanan is the species.
Yeah.
Like, so, okay. For example, this is the vintage Amana Man.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the vintage? No, this ain't the vintage. This is like a newer one, I think.
Yeah, that's not vintage. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me see. It's
that is vintage. No, this is the vintage one.
Yeah, that's the vintage one. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that looks good and clear. Wow,
and then here's like a random
fiber I got is really cooking tonight. Okay, that's the postmodern version.
Look at it. Look at that scar. Look at that scar on my
You know what? I
finger.
think he's too yellow.
See that scar on my finger? Right there.
That's hardly a scar. That's a paper cut.
Well, I mean, it's a little.
What's wrong with you?
But like, they tie the bottle caps like they're too tight on Miller Lite bottles now, and so I keep cutting myself on the bottle caps. That's what you call a regular beer drinker, right there. My son has the exact same mark on his index.
So see, we know now. That's the tell.
I'm gonna hide because I'm embarrassed by my consumption.
All right. So that's a Man of Man.
Man and Warrior, and he was featured in the Dark Horse comic series Empire, and a bunch of Imperials encountered a tribe of Amanans.
Oh, so that's right. He was released as part of one of those comic 2-packs.
That's right.
Yeah.
And these guys are headhunters. And
he looks badass.
They will eat you alive.
Yeah, look at that. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and this looks a lot like the one in the trailer. And then, of course, we have, all right, this is the vintage.
Right. Yep.
You know, it's kind of got that.
Is that a repro?
Retro. No. And look, I broke the staff, though. I don't know.
Oh, no.
The bottom part is, yeah, he broke it.
Yeah.
He broke it, you know, being a cannibal hunter that he is. And then there is a modern version of a Man, and he's right here. Well, relatively, I think this came out like 20 years ago. I call it modern.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that cut on my finger. And look at those hangnails on my fingernail. Look at that.
Yeah, that's all from
I need
Mos
a
Eisley Cantina.
If I keep doing this, I will go see a manicurist, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me.
All right.
But so those are
any super chats we get tonight, they're going to go for Jimmy Mac's manicure fund, and we'll get him. And we just need Tyler. You need to go with him and shoot some video of that.
Yes. I need a manicure. I need a foot massage, and I need some manscaping really bad.
Oh, okay.
Does
That's too much. That's too much sharing.
Does Tyler perform that?
No,
service?
he's the official program observer and call screener. His title does not include Manscaper of Max. Maxscaper. Okay.
The head shears, you know.
Okay. So a man. So we have an Amanin here in the trailer, which is very exciting. We haven't seen one of these in a while. And it looks like he's popping up from underwater. So they might be are they an aquatic species?
They seem kind of lizardy.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
really
lizardy.
know much about their backgrounds other than the fact that one was in the background at Jabba's palace.
Right.
And I did mention, I was watching this trailer with Dylan earlier tonight, Dylan Mack. And he goes, oh, what's that? I go, that's the Man. And that's his live action debut. And Dylan goes, how could you say that? He was in Return of the Jedi. Everybody saw him in there. I'm like, yeah, but he was more like a prop. He wasn't like a real, this feels like a real flesh and blood breathing character, you know, a man in Return of the Jedi.
That's one of the really cool things that, you know, for as much heat as the Disney era gets, something that it has given us is these better views of some of these classic characters that, as you say, in the original trilogy, were just set decoration props.
Right. But yet, Jason, the mere glimpse of them in the background, it drove our creativity and our imagination into overdrive. And each and every one of the streaming series and Disney films have all featured some of these characters coming to the forefront and being represented as real, live, breathing characters, not just background puppets or props that we geeked out on so hard. And I think that's a really cool evolution of how everything in Star Wars develops and becomes more real as things go along. And I get a thrill out of that. The same kind of thrill I used to get freeze framing my old VHSs, looking in the background of the cantina, looking in the background of Jabba's palace, trying to spot, just simply even merely spot these characters in the film, because they're blink and you miss a moment. But yet we had trading cards and magazines that showed pictures of these things. So we were actively searching for them. And we had action figures even. But yet we didn't really see them featured in the film so much. So that's a true virtue of the fact that Star Wars is alive and breathing as a franchise today, is now we get a chance to even see these background characters that we obsessed over. That's how you know you're a real Star Wars fan. When you start obsessing over the background characters and things like that, that pushes you to the next level of fandom. And then when the people who are running Star Wars, the storytellers and creatives, deliver some sort of evolution to those background characters by presenting them in live action as living, breathing characters who find themselves in action sequences, and they're breathing, they're talking, they're carrying on like they've always existed. They're beyond puppetry. I think that's, I almost swore. I think that's effing awesome.
I think it's awesome too.
Yeah.
By the way, they're Amanis.
Oh, Amanis.
Amanis. You know, I had an Amani suit once, but
I thought they just called him a Manin. Amani. Yeah, maybe Amani. That might be some, like, new canon variation or something. New canon and new canon variation.
All right, so getting past the Amani, we got Grogu hitting some buttons here in the crest, and Mando, looks like they're getting ready to go in hot pursuit. There's those thrusters they take off. Now here's another shot of the Razor Crest 2.0.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just it's got just a different shape, similar but different shape. And they're being chased by, what do we got here?
Are they TIE fighters? Are they like TIE
I can't tell.
Advanced?
They're going so fast.
I believe they're TIE Advanced. At first, when we saw them, we thought they were like droid starfighters from the Separatists. You know, Separatists. But if you look, they look more like they're TIE Advanced, because you can see that the solar panels are attached with very, thin rods, like a TIE fighter would be, as opposed to being attached like a proper wing. But still hard to tell what these are, or they could be something entirely new. I'm assuming they're Imperial in nature, but I don't know. It's hard to tell from that one.
Yeah, Grogu doing some swimming here, trying to. This might be where that Amani pops up. Here he is underwater. We've seen Grogu swim before. That's nothing new. We've seen that before.
Yeah. No, he's skilled.
And then here's a Zeb jumping around, taking this. Oh yeah, with that staff coming down.
So
hard.
that's
Zeb's
cool. Well, at least we know we're going to be seeing him in like an actual action sequence.
Yeah.
Zeb is a very physical character, via animation and whatnot. But the only time we saw him in live action, he just made a cameo in Mandalorian season 3, just walking alongside Din, not doing anything really special. Here we see him. He's got his staff and he's kicking ass. The environment he's in, though, is remarkably non-Star Wars. It feels like some kind of like colonial East Coast hotel, that was built in like 1890 or something. I don't know. It just doesn't screech Star Wars to me, whatever this environment he's in. But
hey, before we wrap up the look at this trailer, we are opening phone lines right now. Our call screener, Tyler Page, is standing by. 708-866-1737 is the number. If you're within the sound of our voices here on this live stream, please give us a call. We want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the poster, the trailer, the Man, Jimmy Mac's cuticles? It's all on the table. What do you think? Give us a call. Like I said, 708-866-1737. As we get back to this trailer, Zeb Aurelius.
Hey, guess what finger I'm showing my cuticle from right now?
I have a sneaking suspicion that ain't your pinky. Oh,
whoops.
All right.
Whoops.
It's like RFR After Dark tonight, I tell you, between you and Baby Belushi. All right, now we've got, we've got Baby Grogu riding around with the Beatles of the Anzellans in some sort of little vehicle.
Yeah, I like that. Turtle Wars
cool.
made a graphic of this screenshot, and he labeled them as the Babu Freaks. And the three Fricks were Barry, Tyler, Brian, and then Baby Yoda was me. So I appreciated that. I mean, that really
Baby Yoda.
That actually made my day. I was like, oh, geez, I'm Baby Yoda. Nice.
All right, and here's Din. All right, the jetpack in use as he's flying up to. This looks like maybe a Republic ship. I think.
I think it's a U-wing, is what we see in.
Oh
Andor.
yeah, I see the logo here on the side. Yeah.
Yeah, but from the U-wing ship from Andor, that they flew to.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
it's Scarab. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. It looked maybe a more modernized version. It appears the wingspan may be a little bit more pronounced and longer, more sleek, a sleeker design maybe. But that's what it appears to be to me, with those folding wings. And
looks like he's going to be docking there. And we've got, this is obviously the crowd at the next Monday Night Raw. As we see Rada the Hutt. Who's the actor playing him? He's a
Jeremy Allen White from The Bear. Yeah.
Right. So he's playing Rada. And I'm guessing in some sort of motion capture would be my guess. Or he could just be providing the voice. Well, why would they hire, kind of a beefy, muscular guy to play this character? You wouldn't necessarily need that. It just made me wonder if maybe some of his physicality is going to be introduced into the character.
That's an interesting concept that I did not consider at all. I was only considering Jeremy Allen White as a voice actor in this film. You might be onto something, though. I mean, we haven't seen much.
Typical Hutt.
When the Star Wars comic book line came back to Marvel in 2015, they had a storyline featuring a Hutt named, I think his name was Graka the Hutt.
Yeah.
And he was all ripped. He had like the abs and the biceps, and he was, the chest. He was all like a ripped Hutt. And I just think it's so interesting that a Hutt can have like a 6-pack, or an 8-pack. It's like, do they have a stomach? I mean, they're Hutts. I thought they just like suck and secrete. I didn't know why they're slugs. Does the slug have a stomach? Whatever.
Well, I remember as a kid hearing somewhere along the lines that they were like asexual and that they could just breed on their own. They didn't need a partner or whatever.
That's why. Okay, so he's supposed to be playing Rada the Hutt.
Yeah,
son of Jabba.
Son of Jabba.
There was never a mom. There was who's Rada's mom? Never to have been revealed. So I think that little bit of canon might actually still exist. And is that how Is that how slugs replicate?
Yeah, I think they have that. I think they have that ability. There's certain animals that have the ability to procreate on their own in times of stress. My wife could talk more about that, but there are certain types of animals that can do that.
Has your wife been under a lot of stress lately? Have you
Yes,
found
I was
yourself
not the father of my two
surrounded with-
children. She just was stressed
Are you
out and had
sure?
them. Yeah. She was stressed out for 9 months, and then boom, a baby showed up, and he looked a lot like the Amazon driver. But I think that's a coincidence.
No. She's a hut. She did it herself.
She's a hut. All right, so we got Rada here, and the crowd's going wild, and there's Din and Grogu enjoying all the action.
Is he eating Mantel mix?
He's got to be eating the Mantel mix, man. Yeah. Look at that. That looks like Mantel mix to me.
Oh, wow. The zoom in capabilities here are just outrageous. That is 100% Mantel mix.
Absolutely.
Again, this reminds me of the first scene from Mandalorian season 2 when they met up with the John Leguizamo voice character Gor Koresh. And they met up with him. I forget what planet. I think it was Nar Shaddaa, though. I really do. And he wanted, like, remember, Leguizamo wanted Din's armor. So they lured him there to try, because the Beskar is so valuable.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of getting a catalytic converter out from the bottom of the car. They want the precious metals, and Leguizamo paid for that.
Yes.
I don't think his character survived that.
Hey, look at this. We got a super chat from John Campia joining us here on Rebel Force Radio. That's pretty cool. Thank you, John. That's very nice. Nice to see you on the chat. All right. Moving along here. Okay, so yummy. Here we go. All right, now check these guys out. Look at this. This is Din running through some underground caves. Well, no, I'm sorry, that's not Din. Excuse me. I got to get this just right.
Those are like
I'm
big
looking at the character down on the left.
They're like big steampunk Hulk droids opening fire on.
Can't make that out. Is that Din?
I don't. Jeez, Jason. I have no idea what the hell you freeze framed on. That doesn't look like. I just see these steampunk Hulk droids opening fire.
Maybe it is Din. I think that just the shadows. I'm trying to get it when it gets lit up by the blast. It's really hard to get it that precise, but I think it is Din. But yeah, these big sort of rocky-looking droids.
I love these things. I just think they're great.
These look so 80s. Like, you know how they tried to make everything look like, or everything robots in the 80s with Transformers and GoBots? And I remember there were these ones that they were supposed to look like rocks, and they transformed into robots. And that's what these guys remind me of. They don't feel Star Warsy to me, but they feel really 80s, which I kind of dig.
Again, I'm getting the steampunk vibes. And there used to be a lot of artwork in the old Dark Horse comics, especially Dark Empire, that would resemble these kind of big clunky droids. And I think they fit in just great.
All right. Oh, yeah, that is Din. Yep, we see him in the next shot here. Okay, so that is Din, and here he is taking a shot at one of these guys.
That was a great slow-mo. I love that. I love that.
This is...
Okay, here we go. You know what that is?
It looks like something I've seen on a Dejeric table. That's what I can tell.
Yeah, you're damn right. I believe this is the Mantellian Savrip.
Oh, easy for you to say. All right.
Only ever seen before as a holographic chess piece on the Millennium Falcon chessboard. All right. Now, I know somebody's going to be like, no, he was seen in episode 4, season 2 of Star Wars Resistance in the background. I'm talking live action, in your face, living, breathing, Mantellian Savrip. And the reason, from this shot alone, it's hard to make it out. But as the trailer advances, you'll see it has this elongated neck and this kind of giant prehistoric turtle kind of body and long arms. So I really think this is the same creature you see when C-3PO, R2-D2, and Chewie are playing holographic chess in Star Wars A New Hope. It's the very first creature that picks up the one and slams it down and goes, It's got a long neck. Now, if you see, as we progress through this trailer, you'll see that long neck, and you'll start to notice the classic silhouette of that holographic, especially when it turns to the right. Keep going, Jay. You have Din. He's on top of him. Look at that.
There we go.
Mantellian Savrip.
Yes.
I was telling everybody I know that a Mantellian Savrip is in the new Mandalorian Grogu movie, and I said that is the reason you need to see this film. And they all looked at me like, well, the first guy said it to. He said, "Get off my bus." And then the second guy I said it to, he said, "Please leave my store." The third person I said it to gave me a high five.
Hey, so you know what? One out of three. One out of three.
Yeah, right. I knew I was around a quality Star Wars fan with that.
So what we can sort of glean by this is that Din and Grogu are there. They're catching this fight involving Rada, and somehow they get involved, and then they're gladiators in this contest at some point. And there's spectators around, so who knows how they get themselves mixed up in the action. This is the way. And, this is cool. Mando and Grogu shooting out of the crest. Now, this is some stuff that we saw coming out of Celebration Japan. These AT-ATs blowing up. This is pretty freaking epic stuff right here.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And just, they really take their time slowing down the trailer after a bunch of rapid fire cuts to really let us appreciate.
Well, this is the money shot. This is what cost. This is where all the money was spent right here.
Oh my goodness. But it is a very compelling shot. It does, beg the question, what are the Imperials thinking, sending AT-ATs out on this thin ledge alongside a mountain? I mean, that's like the last thing I'd send out there, but maybe they just didn't have any other options.
You'd think one of those chicken walkers would have done better than a big AT-AT like that, but.
Yeah, that's shaky ground for sure. Oof,
but there he goes.
It's a really wonderful shot. The way it all kind of just comes together as the thing goes down.
Yeah. Now here's where we get into some of that retro. We get this font from the poster and the way it swoops in like this.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's very serial-like. It's very
different.
Serial.
Yeah. It's different. And that's what they want to do with all of these Star Wars stories they're going to start throwing at us over the course of the next 5 years, is they're really going to try to establish an individual identity for each one of these series, each one of these films. Now, The Mandalorian could spin off to be its own film sub-franchise at this point, where we'll get a trilogy or more of Mandalorian and Grogu movies, depending on the success of the first one. So they're immediately trying to identify a certain sort of marketing individual identity. And we're going to see this continue with Star Wars. And so I've always said they have an identity crisis going on here because they're all over the place. But maybe if they work it out correctly, they can establish true foundation, solid footwork for each of these sub-franchises to exist along on their own, and then maybe eventually find ways to bring them all together somehow, some way.
Well, I got to say, if they can't get the merchandise flowing at retail with Mandalorian and Grogu, then I think the franchise has real problems when it comes to that, like mainstream merch. I'm not talking about the adult collector market. I'm talking about, I want to walk into Target, Walmart, wherever, and see this logo hanging, from the toy section, and seeing a ton of stuff out there for it. We'll see.
Yeah. I'll use rather harsh language right now, so plug your ears if you don't want to hear it. But what the fuck happened to Play-Doh?
What?
I want a Mandalorian and Grogu Play-Doh set. I think it's perfect. Did you have a Star Wars Play-Doh set?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I still have, because I had the one for Return of the Jedi, and I still have the little skiff that came with that Play-Doh set. Yeah, you cast the characters out of the. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
You said at the beginning of the show that we've been hearing from people, and I've seen the same messages, that I've been involved in the same chats, that Mandalorian Grogu is being specifically marketed toward little kids. Where the hell is the Play-Doh?
Well, give it
How
time.
how do kids even exist in 2025 without Play-Doh?
My kids played with Play-Doh. I mean, Play-Doh's still a thing. You just haven't had little kids in a while. It's still a thing.
All
yeah,
right.
trust me.
Well, I want Mandalorian and Grogu Play-Doh. Damn it! So I'm gonna start some sort of petition or some sort of and forged for IMAX. What does that even mean? Is the entire thing shot specifically for IMAX? So if you see it in any other format,
I've not heard that. I've not heard that it's categorically been made for IMAX. I mean, usually what you get is certain sequences, like maybe that AT-AT sequence might be for IMAX, but the whole movie, I don't know though. This seems to be implying that.
Going back to 2015, I mean, The Force Awakens even had specific shots that were, if you want to, use the phrase forged for IMAX, specifically when Rey and Finn were running from the Jakku marketplace, they were looking for an escape from the Imperial forces that were chasing them. TIE fighters were flying overhead and they were running, and they wanted to get to the sky hopper, and the aspect ratio of the screen opened up full because it was forged for IMAX. So if we see this film in a regular film theater, is it going to be consistently the larger ratio forged for IMAX? These are questions I have to ask.
I think it's a fair question.
Forged for IMAX. I've never seen that.
Well, it's obviously a play on forged. They're we're talking about Beskar armor. Armor is forged from Beskar. So
you got to dig deep. You're digging deep under the surface now for some meaning, and quite honestly, I think you're hitting the nail right on that.
Yeah, I think I nailed it. I think it is. I think normally they say made for IMAX or something like that. I think the forged.
Do they ever see anything? Is IMAX? I mean, we're 6 months out. They do. I mean, we're more than we're like 8 months out, and they're already promoting. They want.
I don't know if they typically. Usually, there's some PR that comes out that says, "Oh, that the director shot certain sequences for IMAX," but
right.
And as far as how much in advance they do that, I don't know.
But yeah, this early in the game, it almost is
filmed
like
for IMAX.
Really
That's
trying to tell us, go see this in IMAX. And I'll tell you why they're doing that. I'll tell you why they're doing that is because IMAX generally charges more per ticket,
a lot more
than other. So of course they're trying to push us toward IMAX, and also because that will solidly differentiate it from the television series. Because let's be honest here, we've gone through about 95% of the trailer up to this point, and quite honestly, I have yet to see anything that really tells me that this is anything different visually from the productions we've been seeing on Disney Plus, which have had incredibly inflated budgets. That, I mean, the budgets for some of these series absolutely dwarf what you see in feature film budgets. And we also know that there's an effort to kind of curtail that sort of heavy budget spending on franchise films like Marvel and Star Wars, etc. They're trying to pull back on it, make it a little bit more feasible to continue production because they're not making their money back. So we're seeing maybe essentially a Disney Plus production going on to silver screens, but yet forged for IMAX. So they're trying to, drive it home that yes, this does look as good as the Mandalorian TV show did in many ways, shapes, and forms. Now that AT-AT sequence looks beyond anything I've seen actually on any Disney.
I got to say though, the raid on that sandcrawler still holds up. I was just watching that.
That was so wonderful
on 4K disc. It really was great. But I mean, we know that in 2025, it takes a lot to get people to get out to the movie theaters. Star Wars has a talent for doing that. It has a history. It has a track record with only only one exception, honestly, and that was Solo. The rest of them were all of the theatrical releases have been huge hits. So, in most cases, the biggest movie of the time. So, but nevertheless, this is new territory because people are used to be able to get this in their homes, number one. And, number two, the costs are up. I don't even know what it costs to go to an IMAX film now. But anyway, okay, we got another creature here. We got another creature. All right. What's this guy?
Looking thing. I mean, look at this.
So he's
this
popping
one-eyed,
out. Kind of a one-eyed bat-looking creature.
Jackal or something. Yeah, it kind of like a bat. It definitely has a mouth of a bat. It has the tongue of the Jar Jar Binks. Remember the tongue pop from 1999?
Yeah.
Sort of has that going on. And the Grogu, he's got something. He's got like a wrist rocket, a little goop shooter where he shoots green goop. Some sort of like
oh man, talk about merchandise, dude. You know this is going to be on the kid on the arms of every kid in America. Yep. This little gooper, I can see the little canisters that you'll need to buy to attach it. It's basically going to be like silly string or a web shooter. So Hasbro
the Baby Yoda goop shooter. It's the goop shooter. It is coming to Walmarts everywhere. Find yours under the Christmas tree. The Baby Yoda goop shooter shoots a bunch of snot right in your eyeball.
Yeah, we can see the goop there. Yeah, it's just covering his eye. All right.
His one
trying to shake it off.
Yeah, it's like a bat. I was thinking more like a jackal, but now that you say bat,
I'm thinking of the ears. Yeah.
Sort of.
He's got the big teeth. He's ugly, whatever he is. They're out down there in the sewer, and of course, there's a little stinger here. We gotta play the audio. This part because I love the little stinger.
Good shot, baby.
Good shot, baby. So there you go. That's your trailer. Mandalorian and Grogu in theaters May 22nd, 2026.
Yeah.
Already thinking about events this winter, like Toy Fair and seeing all the new merch. Hopefully this is going to be, I really hope that this is going to be a return to form, as you were saying earlier, Jim, in the marketing department and the merch, all of that. And we're going to see Star Wars back in the mainstream in a big, big way. Families going, this has so much potential. It has so much potential.
That's right, baby.
All right, we want to go to the phones. We've got a couple people already on the line, so we'll put age before beauty right now. Let's talk to you know what? We're gonna put the youngest guy on here, and you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about our pal.
It's time for Blake's Tale.
We have not heard from Blake in a while, but someone pointed, I think Tyler, when he was putting in the notes, that we're not just talking to Blake anymore. We're talking to high schooler Blake.
Yeah.
So
Can't
high schooler Blake's
no more. Oh, listen, the voice has changed significantly.
Hey, chut.
Oh, wow.
Hey, chut. What do you think, guys?
Hey, Blake, it's great to hear from you, buddy.
Changed that much.
You know what? You changed enough. Changed. Now, are you in 9th grade this year? You're freshman?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Good for you, buddy. All right. What do you think of high school so far?
I believe we're around like the 10th anniversary of Blake calling in. Or maybe it was 2019. I'm thinking Rise of Skywalker was when we first heard from Kid Blake, and you were a kid, Blake, then. And how old were you when you first called us? He doesn't
7, 8, probably somewhere around there. And I'm gonna say this. My prediction was on point. I predicted the whole plot of Rise of Skywalker at the age of 8 or 7.
We'll have to go back and review the tape.
Now the pressure's on. Can you do it again? Can you predict the entire plot of Mandalorian and Grogu? We've had very little plot points being presented to us. The trailer didn't reveal much. We don't even know who the main antagonist is. So we want your prediction. Kid Blake. I'm still calling you Kid Blake, damn it, because you're a kid to me. And I want to know what your predictions are for Mandalorian and Grogu. And we will save this recording and we'll play it back May 2026, and we'll see how accurate you were.
All right. So I think so since Ahsoka is going to be coming out before Mandalorian and Grogu, that is going to lead
for a fact?
into.
Do we know that for a fact? I don't think it is, Kid Blake. I'm going to put you in your kid place. I think Ahsoka is coming out.
Think?
I think. I know, I do think, but I don't think that Ahsoka is coming out prior to Mandalorian and Grogu. I think if they were going to see any Star Wars before that, it's going to be the Darth Maul animated series. But I don't think Ahsoka and it's season 2. That's not going to launch until post Mandalorian and Grogu. And I think the narrative of Mandalorian and Grogu will lead us into Ahsoka season 2. But I don't know. Maybe you're right though. I'm not completely saying no. I mean, that would be a shock though, I think, for Ahsoka to come out prior to Mandalorian.
I think. See, if Ahsoka comes out before the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, it's gonna take Thrawn is gonna have a big part in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, I think. If Ahsoka takes place before.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, because Ahsoka season 2 may be more concerned with Ahsoka and Sabine discovering the secrets of Paradia and then trying to find their way home. And Ahsoka season 2 might not have anything to do with Grand Admiral Thrawn. The Grand Admiral Thrawn story may really come to the forefront in the Mandalorian and Grogu film. That's kind of how I was thinking it's all going to play out, but I'm not 100% right on that.
So here's what I would say to that. I think they've learned their lesson. I think that the creators behind these franchises know now that they cannot rely on people watching a streaming series to get a payoff from a movie, or watching a streaming series to lead into a film. I think this movie is going to be what it looks like so far, a complete, total standalone. Now, that's not to say that there might not be references. I think there will be references to things, but I think the Thrawn v. Akbar battle that Filoni teased, I think that'll be entirely in Ahsoka season 2. I think that Mando and Grogu will have echoes of what's going on in the universe, but I don't see it being central at all.
No, you're right, because they did say that the second half of Ahsoka season 2 would be all the Thrawn battle.
Right.
It would be a 4-episode blowout.
Right. So Blake, we didn't mean to upset the apple cart here with your theories. So tell us, how do you think Thrawn is going to enter into Mando and Grogu? Do you think they're going to introduce him as the big bad, as the threat, say like towards the end, or will he be sort of a specter behind the whole thing?
I think that he's gonna be like the big bad, but not fully. Like in season 3, there's that Shadow Council, and they talk about Thrawn. Like they know Thrawn, and they're trying to get Thrawn and all this stuff. And I think that Thrawn, in the trailer, when they're like, it cuts from the arena to where there's those big robots with that with the Volt looking thing.
Yeah, right.
That has the Hut logo on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think maybe that in there, it'll kind of be like a MacGuffin. It's like to where there's like the two characters who both want one thing. And
okay.
Thrawn, it could be something to do with World Between Worlds or anything like that in there. And so then Mandalorian and Grogu and a bunch of other rebels might be set to stop Thrawn's people, I guess we could say, from going there to try to get Thrawn out, because that's how they think is the way to get Thrawn. So they might try to do that while Mando and Grogu have to stop it from happening, because it'd be Thrawn and then New Republic kind of fighting at it to get to maybe the world between worlds.
Oh, now you're throwing in the world between worlds. Oh, my gosh. I tell you what, Blake, what I love about you is that you're so steeped in the lore and you have so much faith that it's all going to just tie in beautifully. You're a true believer, man, and that's what we love about you. So, as Max said, we'll definitely keep all of these notes in mind, and we can play it back when we're all together in the aftermath of seeing Mandalorian and Grogu. But it was great to hear from you, bud. Best of luck in your freshman year. And hopefully we'll be doing some more of these live shows and we can continue to hear from you. I mean, we do have the Darth Maul series probably going to be the next time we're all together unless we find another excuse.
Yeah, which could happen.
Yeah.
All right, bud. Take care. Yeah. Thank you very much. There goes Blake. Who is
Blake,
next?
Formerly Kid.
We took the kid out of the
Formerly Kid.
We got Marty from Georgia joining us. Hey, Marty. Welcome to Rebel Force Radio.
Good Marty. RFR VIP.
Hey, chut, fellas. How you guys doing?
Chut.
Good. Marty.
Hey, I'll keep it simple because I know there's some other callers. This trailer came out at the perfect time today. I was kind of having a crappy morning. And then all of a sudden at work, my cousin texted me, Mando and Grogu trailer's out. So I literally had to stop my class, put on YouTube, and I said, all right, you guys can do what you want for 2 minutes. Just keep your voice down. Mr. W is going to geek out. And
what grade are these students? What grade?
Seventh grade. Seventh grade. Seven.
Rolls in.
So
I love
it. I found a few.
Turn off everything. Watch the new Star Wars.
I found a few nerds because I heard one say, oh, it's an AT-ST. And one goes, no, that's an AT-AT. And I'm kind of like, all right, note to self, give these two kids extra credit.
Yeah, right.
And,
they get A's already.
I had a few was like, oh, yeah. And I had a few say, is that Jabba the Hutt? I'm like, no, that's his son. So I don't feel like having a conversation, though, on how the Jabba the Hutt baby came about.
Stinky.
But anyway, it also just gave off a really happy vibe. I think coming off of Superman and seeing him as a return to superheroes, like Mando is just someone you can root for, and Superman is someone you can root for with clear signs of good and evil. And I really hope Hollywood goes back in this direction, steering away from these morally complicated characters, and just goes back to the good old-fashioned good versus bad. So. Yeah. Anyway, that was my take. I know there's a bunch of other people on mine, Marty, and I just want to share it with you guys.
No, Marty, I agree. I love it. I mean, I just want to hear, though, as you were watching this and you asked the class to, give you a little bit of time and space, was there any reaction other than the kid that threw out the Jabba the Hutt? Was there any reaction from them? Like, could you tell, were they familiar with Mando and Grogu? Were they watching the show? Was there excitement? Be honest, it's okay.
I think there was definitely some recognition. There was some recognition with Baby Yoda. He was the big one where everyone's like, "Oh, it's Baby Yoda," when he was started doing little tricks and stuff. Some with Mandalorian, but it kind of ended there. I've talked on the Q&A before. The problem with the kids and Star Wars is they don't have access to Disney Plus a lot of the time where I work. So they'll go out to the big box office movies. So I've been saying that recently, like you guys. Star Wars is meant to be on the big screen. And I was just talking to a friend of mine about it today. Star Wars needs to be on the big screen to really appreciate what's happening. And
you bring up a good Marty, you bring up a really good point, something I hadn't thought about, which is, a lot of us take for granted where, my kids have grown up, luckily, in a house where they've had access to things like these streaming channels, and Dad does the podcast, so I'm going to have all the different streamers available. But there are people out there, especially kids, they're not in control of that stuff, and it is behind a pretty significant paywall. And you could say, well, Star Wars was always behind a paywall. You had to go to the movie theater, but it was so accessible back then. A couple of bucks, a bus fare, grandma drops you off. I mean, back in that time, you could stay all day and watch it multiple times. So, with maybe mowing a lawn, there was no subscription involved in seeing Star Wars. You could pay your $3, your $5, $8, whatever it was back then, and enjoy it and be part of the whole collective consciousness. That's not available today. And I think that's a really, really good reminder. Some of the kids, they just don't have access to Star Wars, and that's a shame.
Yeah.
And I think it being in movie theaters will bring it back.
Yeah. Hope so.
You know, the way that television
all right, buddy, thank you
viewing
very much.
The way television viewing has become so segmented over the last 30 years. I mean, when you really think about what's a big hit network TV show or even streaming TV show, brings in 1 or 2, maybe 3 million viewers nowadays, and that's considered a big success. Let's go back to, like 1995 when ER was the biggest show on network TV, and like 24 million people would tune in to watch that show every week.
Yeah.
There wasn't the competition. There wasn't the options. There weren't all of the, just like everything is so splintered.
I saw a recent interview with Rob Reiner. He was talking to Bill Maher, and he was talking about 1978 when All in the Family came out. For 5 years in a row, it was the #1 show. There were a little over 200 million people in the country at that point. There's over 300 million now. 200 million people in the country, 45 million people a week watched All in the Family, almost 25%. Now that's how something becomes a pop culture phenomenon. And Jim, as you're pointing out, that just is not the world we live in anymore. And actually, Reiner had a really good point. He goes, you used to be able to have water cooler talk. He goes, now you go out to dinner and people go, oh, no, don't tell me. I'm still on season 1.
Right.
You can't talk about this stuff. So one of the things I'm super glad about what we do on the after shows is, sorry, we're not waiting for anybody. We're seeing the episode, we're going on the air, and we're talking about it because that's how we as a community keep up with this stuff and watch it and experience it in real time. But it's just hard. Much different.
Yeah. It's the way people consume media and entertainment is so segmented and so niche these days that, big franchises that have always succeeded with the hundreds of millions of viewers, things like Star Wars are now beginning to kind of realize it's a different reality now where you really have to, I think, focus more on your core audience than ever before, because if you lose them, you've lost everything. So
right.
Keep the core audience and continue the tradition of Star Wars being passed down the generations and really try to lean heavily on that. Why not? Because that's the thing that's been paying the dividends. It isn't this half-assed search for a brand new audience and a whole new demographic and everything. You can't reinvent it that way. You have to maintain your core audience and let the snowball effect take place.
Hey, I just thought when Toys for Tots rolls around this year, I think I'm going to give away some Disney Plus subscriptions so these kids can watch some Star Wars, for God's sake.
Not me. It's going to be boxes and boxes, crates of Play-Doh. Lots and lots of Play-Doh.
All right, some super chats coming in here. Guillermo says, Chut RFR, just saying hi, and Cerveza Cristal. Appreciate that. Very kind. Eric from Phoenix, who's also waiting to talk to us on the phone, says, just wanted to ask when we will all get to hang out again. Thanks to Jason, Jimmy, Tyler, Billy, Freaks, and Steve, and the Row docents and volunteers. Can't wait for the next time to hang. Well, neither can we, man. We are really looking forward to it. If you think you're looking forward to it. Kyle, this is great. Jim, what you need is a manicure. See, get
a
it?
man,
a manicure.
I don't know. Look at these fingernails. I mean, look at that. That's the man fingernail.
Yeah, you probably don't want to be taking any beauty tips from that guy.
No. He looks like look at that. Look at those fingernails.
As I said earlier, thanks to look at that. John Campia with a super chat. Thank you, John. That's very kind. Baby Belushi with super chat. A Mandalorian and Grogu. Touche.
Oh, okay.
Bibi Belushi.
I like that. Or how about that new Lego special with the Mandalorian? Hello, what have we here? This is the way. I still have not yet made it through the
Don't
no
galaxy. Spoilers.
I haven't. It was teased at the end of the last season, the first season. And I rewatched that while I was building that godforsaken Mos Eisley Cantina. And so I figured, well, I'll just watch the new Star Wars Lego thing. And I got like 30 seconds into that. And I'm like, I better watch the first one because I don't know what they're talking about. So I watched the first one again.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do that too.
Yeah. But then when it came time to watch the second one, I was like so in and out of the first viewing because of the little pieces I had to stick together for the cantina that I said, all right, well, I'm going to just watch Seinfeld now because I can't concentrate on a new Lego show while I'm building this stupid cantina.
The Lego stuff stresses me out a little bit because I know they're just filling it full of Easter eggs, and I feel I have to be so aware and notice everything. I'm looking at the background, looking for a cameo, and then I've missed the dialogue or what's going on in the story. So yeah.
And there's so many funny little one-liners and Easter eggs within the dialogue itself of all of these shows. So you do want to kind of stay sharp on that and not let your mind drift and try to build a Mos Eisley Cantina while you're watching. So it was Seinfeld for me for the rest of the night. But I think we're going to talk more about that Lego show. I think Ashley is going to join us in the next few weeks to talk about her return to the voice of Ahsoka on Star Wars Lego Rebuild the Galaxy. So yeah, I've been talking to Ashley a lot lately, and she's like so bugging out that she is doing the Ahsoka voice in this Lego Star Wars. I mean, you just got to love Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah, it's going to be great to catch up with her. We've got Ronan on the line. Ronan, I believe, might be a first-time caller. Hey, Ronan.
Hi. It is my second time calling. I talked to you guys about Tales of the Jedi a while back. Yeah.
All right. What's on your mind tonight? Hopefully something about Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes, of course. It's been months since they confirmed it, but I still can't believe I'm seeing Sigourney Weaver in Star Wars. That is like
I know
nerd. That's mind bending.
Well, what's her name? Is it Colonel Bishop or is it Colonel? What was it? Ward.
Ward. I heard Bishop as well a long time ago, and at this point, I'm like, whatever. As long as she's a colonel, as long as I see her in next wing at least once, I'm a happy camper.
Wow, yeah, Sigourney Weaver flying an X-wing. We got to see that. Hope that happens. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there have been behind the scenes shots of her wearing the X-wing pilot's getup. Yeah,
she's wearing a flight suit at some point.
Yeah. So we'll definitely see her in action. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how this film really delivers for both the fans who've been here since 2019 and new audiences, because I dug the trailer. I'm still a little confused how there's a lot of people who weren't into it, but then again, we're in 2025, and I'm really hopeful that there's a balance. I'm really hopeful there's a balance that way, leading up to even beyond the movie into Celebration. It's like, all right, we got back to the screens and it's just as strong as again. And now what does that momentum kicks in for the rest of, specifically that era of storytelling with Ahsoka and then Dave's eventual film?
Yeah, as far as the criticism of the trailer, I understand where people are coming from. When I'm sitting here doing this live with Jim and we're going frame by frame and trying to pick everything out, and we know that you guys are our audience and you're with us every step of the way, you know what we're talking about. It's one experience. When I'm just being a fan like I was this morning and saw the trailer had dropped and I watched it, I'm going to be honest, I was underwhelmed. I thought that what they released at Star Wars Celebration Japan was far better, far more epic, far more sweeping, gave us more idea of what the plot might be. There was zero plot in this trailer. All it was just a series of images, almost no dialogue. But having said that, there's a lot of people that think that nowadays trailers give way too much away. So I get it. What I sort of came down to is what I was saying at the top of the show, which is I think that this is a very well executed trailer given the audience that it's trying to reach. I think it's going to try to reach because it's being attached to what's the movie coming out? Disney movie that this is
Tron.
gonna be. Tron.
Ares.
Okay, so Tron, Ares. So I think that it's going to be nostalgic. I think for the grown-ups that are in the audience, it's going to be exciting for the kids that are being brought to see a Tron movie, maybe for the first time. So this is about getting families and young kids back into Star Wars. That's what I think the audience for this trailer is. And we'll probably see, well, we know we'll see multiple trailers cut for different types of people out there. One movie, multiple trailers, different spins, different takes. But I'm with you, Ronan. I hope that this, because you say it right, like we're going to go from this into Star Wars Celebration and the 50th anniversary. I hope that this ushers in a whole new rejuvenation of camaraderie amongst fans, and we can all agree. And I mean, not, you know what I mean by agree. Well, at least we can all be fans together. We might have our nitpicks. That's what makes fandom fun, honestly, are the nitpicks, the discussions and whatnot. But at least we can all come together as Star Wars fans instead of having all this division and negativity and crap.
Exactly. Avoid all the left turns into weird spaces like The Last Jedi provided, like The Acolyte provided, like so many other half-baked novels or comic books. You know, when you're a Star Wars fan as deep as I am, I consider that all part of the grand tapestry of Star Wars because I consume it all. And I look at the novels and comics pretty much on the same scale as I do the streaming series, the animated series, and the feature films. I want to see a certain level, a certain standard that always gets appreciated. And there's been just too many attempts to reinvent the wheel, which hasn't exactly panned out.
Yeah, no, Jim, you're absolutely right to remind that, and you know, I think back to what I was saying. I didn't want to imply that the fans were at fault because I don't ever want to put the blame on the fans. The product has been the reason that the fans have reacted. That's what the fans are reacting to. It's the product. So you're absolutely right. If the product is great, I hope the fans are there for it, and we can have a great 2026 and into 2027 and hit that 50th and see something totally brand spanking new with Starfighter.
Let's go.
We got Eric from Phoenix joining us. Eric, thanks for waiting.
Hey, guys.
Our host from Rancho Obi-Wan at Torches.
Well, the after party at Torches in Petaluma. I tell you what, man, Eric from Phoenix, you really rose to the challenge I presented to you. Because I said the after party, I can't even think about the after party. And Eric picked up that ball, ran with it, and really put together something that solidified our entire evening in Petaluma. So thank you very much for that, Eric. I can't say enough.
Yeah, thanks,
He's overwhelmed.
guys. And,
there
you know, I just, I'm here. Hey, this thanks. And it was very important for me just to get everybody a chance to quote unquote hang. And the folks at Torches, Kendra and Alice, they were fantastic. And they went above and beyond what I even expected.
They
showing
sure
the
did.
movies, having all the different Star Wars stuff out on the tables. And it exceeded every expectation I had. And I'm so glad that all the people got a chance to hang, even though some people, you know, could only be there for a little bit because they had to take off because they had early flights and stuff like that. And thank you to you two guys for all the work you did, and Tyler in putting together the podcast at Rancho Obi-Wan, which, by the way, was fantastic. And then you guys had a very busy weekend, and you came to the after party. And I know everybody was thrilled to get a chance to spend a little bit of time with you that night. So, yeah, thanks. And, Andrea got a nice note from Alice at Torches through Facebook this week, just how much they were appreciative of the RFR group, not us, Andrea and I, but of the whole group, of all the people. And they made a comment that, hey, we stopped serving alcohol exactly when we needed to at 1:45. And she said, people were still there till almost 3 a.m. She said, we loved every minute of it. Everybody was respectful. Everybody had a great time. And hopefully, basically they said, hopefully down the road, maybe we can do it again. So thanks to you guys. Thanks to everybody who was there. It was a fantastic time.
All right, so let's talk Mando and Grogu. Eric, we know that you always come prepared with lots of thoughts and ideas. I'm sure tonight is no exception. What are your thoughts about this trailer, the poster art?
Yeah, so I basically, from a trailer perspective, I had what I would consider 2 big positives, and then I had a couple nitpicks. So number 1 positive is it looked and felt fun. Star Wars needs fun. Andor was a great TV show set in the Star Wars universe, but there was nothing fun about that show. It wasn't fun. And that's not a knock on the show. That's not what it was trying to do. But Star Wars needs fun if it wants to survive long term. And this trailer delivered that. It showed that you can have fun in Star Wars. So that's number 1 positive for me, was it felt fun. Number 2 positive, you guys talked about this already, but the Amani or Man-a-Man creature showing up. And I have to tell you, that was my favorite part in the movie. And the reason it was my favorite part of the trailer is because Disney has been so doggone adverse for most of the series and most of the movies to reusing characters that already exist for the plot points they're trying to deliver. And we've talked about it. You guys have talked about it. I've mentioned it on Q&As. But seeing a creature show up that, frankly, as a kid, I didn't even know existed, because I had pan and scan on a 20-inch TV. I didn't even know a Man-a-Man was a thing. I was out of Star Wars by the time Power of the Force figures came around, until I was an adult. And, coming out of college, an adult, and the figures started coming out, Star Wars Insider, Letterbox, all that thing. But seeing that creature show up and actually getting to see them do something in live action, kudos to John and Dave, much like IG-11. They took a character from the old original trilogy, albeit a different character, IG-11 versus IG-88. But as a kid, we wanted to see IG-88 do something. And of course, we never got to see that. But in the Mandalorian, we got to see IG-11 and see what that character could be like. And I'm so thankful that we got that little snippet of a alien species that existed that they're reusing. My gosh, we need more of that. We got all kinds of great characters that have been created over almost 50 years.
Favreau and Filoni, I think they're way more into, obviously, my God, they had Kenner colors show up at one point with Filoni. They like the deep cuts. They like the characters that are in the background. The issue I had was really about the sequel films, where you never saw any of those familiar aliens, hardly at all. Yeah. But the Filoni and Favreau stuff, they've tried to incorporate them more. It's not 100% there, but they've definitely done a good job with resurrecting some of these designs and letting us look at them in a whole new way. There have been hits and misses. I would consider the Gamorreans from Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian a little bit of a fail. They didn't really, they were kind of like Temu Gamorreans for me, but nonetheless, they certainly put the effort in there. All right, what are the misses? What are the negatives on the trailer?
Yeah, and these are very minor nitpicks. Okay, guys. So number 1, and I can't explain this, and maybe it's just my TV, but the video quality just didn't seem theatrical. Like it, when you watch a Disney Plus series or you watch The Mandalorian, it has a certain look to it, and I don't think it looks bad, but it just doesn't look theatrical. And the trailer did not look theatrical. And that's not the compositing of what they showed. It's just the look of it. So I can't explain it any better than that.
I'll tell you what.
It just didn't
I
look
think we've
theatrical,
just
and that
been
was
so
one of my.
the huge budgets of these streaming series rival feature films and even exceed them. And I think we've just been kind of put in our place that there's nothing that a streaming series can't do when compared to a feature film. The line has become so blurred and thin. And so when we see this trailer, it almost seems like we're watching a trailer for Mandalorian season 4 in many ways, because we've seen such quality theatrical presentations being presented to us via streaming series. I mean, you have to admit, what we've seen in the streaming series far exceeds anything we've ever seen on network TV, ever. So it's like, it's kind of this blurry sort of purgatory, not purgatory.
Well, maybe they're meeting in the middle. You know, they're meeting in the middle. Yeah.
They're meeting in the middle. It's a middle ground. And you're finding the line between streaming series and theatrical productions becoming like razor thin because of all of the budget that has been dumped into the streaming series. I mean, we've heard these numbers. I mean, my goodness, The Acolyte alone was for that series 8 episodes, 4 hours worth of programming, I guess. And it came to about like, what was the final number on that one? Almost $400 million. That far exceeds any sort of Star Wars budget for a feature film. So the line has become so blurry that we don't even recognize theatrical quality anymore. And that's kind of a weird place to be as an entertainment consumer, I think. And we have to keep that in mind. I don't think every movie should be $400 million. I don't think every streaming series should be $400 million. And I think that, there was a charm to Star Wars when it was being shot on a budget. And there were these charming little incidents that would happen along the way due to the lack of a budget. And it created some really wonderful things. And it actually did develop the technology to become more affordable. That was George Lucas's whole thing, how to make it more affordable. And in doing so, I think George succeeded in a place where in the streaming era, we've seen just nothing but mad, unlimited budgets being thrown at these projects. And a lot of times it's not the right people in charge of those budgets or who know what to do with them. And thus we get treated to more mediocre things. So we're in a weird place as far as evaluating quality. I think we really need to wait till we see the final thing. But I agree with you, Eric, in the sense that it almost feels like there's nothing really separating the footage we see in this theatrical trailer that makes it any different than the footage we see in the streaming series, outside of that ad shot, which I think is a little bit above and beyond what a streaming series could provide. But who knows? I mean, we've seen some great special effects in The Mandalorian as a series, in other Disney Star Wars streaming series. So yeah, it's become such a blurry thing to sort of analyze and evaluate.
What was the other negative, Eric?
Yeah, the other, just once again, nitpick was the Razor Crest. Okay, whether it's Razor Crest to Mando Starship #2, or it's some type of Voltron thing where you got the N1 that's combined with something else and they can come. I don't care. They better have a really good story for why the ship is almost the same as the one that got blown to smithereens, because basically Star Trek did this, 10 times through the movies and the TV series, where they blow the doggone Enterprise up and bring the stupid thing. I shouldn't say stupid. Bring the thing back and it looks similar. Come on. I mean, George, I'm going to give George some props here. When he designed ships for the next movie, for the most part, he pushed things forward in new designs, new elements. And if there's a really good reason and a story behind why it looks the way it looks, I'm good with it. But on the surface, with knowing nothing, I'm like, really? They couldn't come up with a better design, something new and fresh for him to use as a ship. And once again, this is a minor nitpick.
It's become rather iconic. It's become a very identifiable symbol of the character of Din Djarin. I mean, I would even place it up there with the comparison between Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon. It's just the two things just march side by side together so well. What I fear is he just shows up in the Razor Crest. The movie goes from beginning to middle to end, and there is absolutely no explanation for why he's back in the Razor Crest. It's a just because situation. I need better narrative as far as that goes. And
I agree with that. I just think I agree with that, with what both you guys are saying, but I think we as fans are putting too much emphasis on the ship. I don't think that they're worried about what the fans are saying about what ship he drives.
See, that's not true, because I think even Disney and Lucasfilm recognize the fact that their ships are extremely iconic. They're characters in themselves, and
they can be. But I don't think the Razor Crest was that one. I don't think anybody remembers the Razor Crest that's not a diehard fan. That's not a diehard fan. I don't think they remember it.
I mean, okay, that's fair. I mean, I can't think outside that box. Sometimes I'm such a diehard fan. This stuff is all second nature to me. But I hear.
Well, Eric, I will say, I just want to say about the Trek thing. That's rebuilding the Enterprise. That was a military, almost like a quasi-military operation with the Federation. That they wanted to
it was
put
just
it,
another battleship.
Right, they wanted to rebuild it, and that happened to be the class of Starship that it was, and they smacked the Enterprise logo on it. But I will agree with you that it became a little bit too overdone. I mean, it really hit home in Star Trek 3, but ever since then, they did it too much in the Next Gen. Every time Deanna Troi got behind the controls, it went down. All right, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
That's a commentary that I think goes far beyond just Star Trek itself.
No,
Jason
not at all.
Swain.
Andrew Arkham from the RFR Facebook group is joining us. Hello, Andrew. Thanks for waiting.
Hey guys, no problems. Happy to be on the air with you guys again. I want to talk to you about expectations for this movie. And what I wanted to jump into immediately was the fact that I hope that this movie takes the opportunity to do callbacks to the broader Star Wars universe, given that you have characters that are now in this movie that are from the history of the franchise. So what I'm thinking is, for example, like some kind of scenario where when Mando goes to the arena to meet Rhoda, sorry, I'm a little bit flustered.
Don't be.
He goes, because I feel like it's gonna be like a goods and services kind of thing, like every Mandalorian episode. Like he needs something, so he's got to do something for Rhoda, and vice versa to get this thing and get to the next point. So I'm thinking he goes to Rhoda for some kind of information. He needs some kind of information from this gangster. And he goes, oh, you know what, Mando? I was going to give you this information, but how about this? You fight in my arena, or I'll stop the fight if you tell me where I can find the Jedi that killed my father, because my spies tell me you know him.
Hey, that's kind of cool. I like that. I like that. What you're also describing, Andrew, is this is very this follows like the early, especially the early like James Bond films, like the Sean Connery James Bonds. He goes, he meets a contact. He's got a little quest in order to get that contact, which leads him to the next contact, and there's a little quest there. So yeah, there's definitely some kind of spy espionage. I could see it going that way, definitely.
Yeah, and like you could grow so much more from that to throw even more history into it. Like maybe he gets into a fight with him and Mando, and you see a brawl between Rhoda and Mando in that arena, and Grogu could run out with a communicator, some kind of holo projector, runs over to Rhoda between the fight, and projects a screen of Ahsoka holding Grogu, and that takes him back to when he was a child, and he remembers the Jedi that saved his life during the Clone Wars.
Are you saying that Grogu is going to hollow project an old family photo of Rada? Hey, remember when?
Who knows if those Mando helmets? We don't know. It could be because we don't know those Mando helmets have recording devices. So it could be like the Mandalorian season 2 when Ahsoka first meets Grogu, and Grogu just holds up the photo of him, and it just reminds him of when Ahsoka was holding him as a child and saved his life. He's like, oh, you know Ahsoka, my dude. Okay, sure, I'll help you guys. Sure.
You know what? I'm going to go halfway with you. I like your first idea about the different contacts in the quest, but I don't think I'm going to go on a limb here and say I don't think we'll hear her name or see her face. No Ahsoka Tano in this movie.
Well, especially considering there's been no interaction between her and Din Djarin since season 2 of The Mandalorian. And since then, Ahsoka has completely fallen off the map. She's inaccessible.
Right.
So she's inaccessible, I should say. And so that's going to, probably present a little bit of separation between this story and the other. And of course, we do know that Disney wants us to kind of be a standalone, set a foundation for a potential Mandalorian and Grogu sub-franchise within Star Wars. And I think any Ahsoka insertions will happen later down the line.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to cross the streams with this one. I really don't. Hey,
I know you're right, but I just love a good callback. Just
sure, of course you do. Yeah. We all do. Who doesn't? We love that. Yeah. Hey, buddy, thank you very much for the call, and thanks for hanging with us tonight. We got time for one more here. Let's talk to Mariana from Florida. Hello, Mariana.
Hey, Jimmy, Jason, Cha-Cha.
Hey,
it's been a long time. How are you guys doing? It's been a long time. We're doing great. We're talking Mando and Grogu. We've got a new trailer. We've got this beautiful poster. What do you think of all this? Yeah, well, actually, before we get to that, Jimmy, Jason, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being a massive inspiration to me as a fan, a Star Wars fangirl, and also a fellow podcaster. You guys have been a massive inspiration and a catalyst for me. So I just want to say that.
Hey, you're so welcome. That's very nice. That's very nice of you to say. We're happy to do that. We certainly had our own inspiration over the years, so great to pass that on. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So also number 2, I heard that you guys are going to be talking to Ashley again. Today's Ashley's birthday, so I want to give a shout out to her and how much she's meant to me. Yeah,
awesome.
It's Ashley's birthday. Yeah,
happy birthday. No, I did not know that. So happy birthday to Ashley Eckstein, our Ahsoka Tano here at Rebel Force Radio.
For sure.
Yes. I will. I want to watch the Rebuild the Galaxy. I heard it's really good because when I found out that she was going to be voicing Brickhead Ahsoka, I was like, okay, I'm so down. I'm going to definitely watch it and see what's going on. Especially the Darth Jar Jar. I was like, oh my gosh, they actually made it come true.
They made it happen. It was just a matter of time. They made it happen. They made a lot of crazy things happen with this series. So I'm enjoying it so far. I got more to go, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually kind of going back to the trailer. So I want to say that I was very excited to see it because, first of all, it's been 6.5 years since we had a Star Wars movie in theaters. Last one we had was Rise of Skywalker. And seeing like all the announcements they made in the last couple of years, some of them have been indefinitely delayed. Some of them have pushed back. Some of them have been shelved. But this is official. We have a trailer, which means it's actually happening. And I hope that this brings us back to the original feeling and the vibes from that original trilogy that George put out almost 50 years ago. Because we know we have various fans that have different tastes. You know, the most recent was Andor. To be quite honest, Andor was not my cup of tea. I tapped out of after season one. And that's why I'm really happy that we're having this movie back, because it really brings in those vibes of the space opera, spaghetti Western feeling that the original trilogy and maybe some parts of the prequel trilogy did have. So that's how I feel.
Well,
and
when we
really
spoke with Brendan Wayne,
again.
sorry, Mariano, just to remind, when we spoke with Brendan Wayne, he was very open about the fact that he feels this movie is going back to at least to the earliest episodes of the Mandalorian series and really focusing in on these characters and not doing all of this world building like they did with season 3.
Yeah. It was distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the fact that, I'm gonna be biased here, but Cara Dune wasn't in season 3. So
no, she was not. Jimmy Mack predicts
really
that Cara Dune's going to show up in this movie, and that she will be inserted, and that will then reestablish her into the series, and maybe she'll show up for other things. I did see that actress Gina Carano posted recently that she was cast in a new series, and I was also really happy to see that Ming-Na Wen, a colleague of hers, put a comment on that post congratulating her. So maybe some of these wounds are starting to heal, and that'll be reflected in the Star Wars fandom as well. I'm here for it.
Me too.
All right.
I completely agree. And let me tell you, I want to say one last thing before, if it's okay, guys.
Sure, yeah.
One last thing, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to say, and you know what? I don't care if anybody comes after me. I've had a pleasure of meeting Gina Carano. I'm going to say it on the air. She's the nicest, loveliest lady. She was so kind to me when I met her at MegaCon Orlando, and I think the way how they treated her was just absolutely disgusting. And I'm so glad that she and Disney were finally able to come to a settlement. And I hope that going forward, this will heal the fan base that unfortunately has been, kind of torn apart in the last couple of years. So maybe this will be the first step to finally healing the rift of the fandom going forward.
Let's hope.
There you go.
Let's hope. Thanks, Mariana.
Very positive thoughts, and very fair to feel that way. And would you like to tell us a little bit about your podcast? What's
I
it
already
called?
let her go.
Oh, well, she's gone. So she's got a Pokemon podcast of some kind, and you should check it out.
Check it out.
I don't know I don't know the name of it, but Jason gave her the old shuffle off of the.
She had an opportunity to plug the name of it. She was talking about how we helped inspire.
She was being respectful to us.
She was.
And she was being very respectful to us, so I wanted to give her the chance. So maybe she'll put it in the chat, and we could give it a shout out.
Yes, please do, Mariana. Put that in the chat.
Do we have any super chats?
We do have a couple of super chats here. We've got Scott St. Louis saying, Barf wants to join RFR on opening night for Mando and Grogu. Let's save Jason the trouble of flying. I'd say after Mac's latest travels, we might want to save him the trouble of flying too. And meet in Ohio. Sorry for covering your logo, Jimmy. Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's right. I'm glad you're listening, Scott. So I was walking around wearing a Rancho Obi-Wan shirt in Petaluma at the after party, and Scott came up and slapped the BARF, which stands for Boston Area Rebel Force Fans, slap it right on my shirt, but he covered up the Rancho Obi-Wan logo, and you know how I feel about that. So what you want to check out for Mariana, who just departed us, she puts in the chat, the name of her Pokemon podcast is called Diamond Badge PML Podcast. So you might want to write that one down. Diamond Badge PML Podcast. And she's inspired by Rebel Force Radio, and she decided to start podcasting herself.
I love that.
Respecting Rebel Force Radio, steering clear of Star Wars, and going right for the Pokemon, because we're not going to talk about that. And now she owns Pokemon podcasting. She's like the all-time queen of Pokemon podcasting. So you want to check her out at the Diamond Badge PML Podcast. And tell them RFR sent you.
One of my all-time favorite YouTubers, That Junkman, says, great show as always. Nice to see Junkman in the chat. As a matter of fact, when I was hurriedly trying to download something before the Wi-Fi got shut off on the flight, it was a Junkman live stream that I downloaded because they're like 3 hours long. So That's what I needed. I needed that Junkman live stream. So thanks, Junkman. Appreciate it.
I would have moved back into row 38 if I knew that was going on.
So here's Craven
there
Zeus.
with my pizza melt.
Look at Craven Zeus here. Been listening for years, since 2016, and love each and every one of the live shows. I'm excited for this one. Kids can't wait. Thanks, boys. Always RFR. Thank you, Craven Zeus.
Nice.
Appreciate that very much. I'm excited, and I'll tell you, when I came home and I said to my my family that the Mando Grogu trailer had come out, there was interest. Whoa, Mando, Mando back in the theater. What, Mando? So yeah, so Mando has stuck in this household. Other things, not as much. My wife and I, from an like adult perspective, we liked watching Andor. She loved it, but Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, even just didn't quite. Book of Boba Fett did once Mando showed up. So my family's for sure Team Mando. So we're going to be there, as a family at least twice. I'm going to say, at least twice.
Really, you're committing the whole family to 2 viewings?
Oh yeah.
All right.
For
We'll check in with you. We'll check in with you in May and see how that goes.
Matt, I sense doubt. You hear the doubt in Mac's voice.
Yeah,
we'll check with you. You're not as big a fan as I am, so we'll check out.
No. I'm saying the challenge of getting the whole family out to the theaters just once is an overwhelming challenge at times. But you're predicting twice.
I'm predicting 2 viewings with the family in next summer.
Full family, including Deb.
All 4 of us.
Including Deb.
Yes.
I want a written affidavit from Deborah Swank.
Listen to what he puts me through, people. Listen, imagine if I challenged him every time he made one of these crazy declarations.
I don't make crazy declarations. Everything I say is steeped in reality.
Matt,
at least in my own mind. My own.
By the way, the budget for Acolyte was $230 million. So Mattaween says, "Yeah, I don't think so." You said 400. That's like $500 million. That's a lot. That's a lot. But you know what? Maybe it was all in the marketing costs.
Yeah, sometimes we don't learn all the facts for a couple of years.
That's true. And there's all those weird tax credits and things that they're sort of moving around. And yeah, you're absolutely right.
Easily $400 million. Easily $400 million.
These budgets can literally take years before they're actually solid and materialized. Okay, last super chat here. Mattaween, y'all keep in mind we have 9 months before this movie comes out. A baby can be conceived. And before this movie comes out, there's plenty of time for a better, more comprehensive trailer to reveal some plot points. Yes, that's true, right. Mattaween. I agree with you. I was just saying, if I were forced to be critical, that would be what I would criticize. Yes. By the way,
I also want to thank Mattaween for tipping us off about his fall plans, and we want to be there.
Does Mrs. Mattaween know about these plans?
Yeah, you should tell Mrs. Mattaween exactly about your whole baby conception plan. Yeah.
All right, well, that sound you hear is us wrapping things up here on this very special live stream, Rebel Force Radio, looking into this incredible experience I think we're all about to have next May. I feel more positive about this certainly than I do. Starfighter sounds exciting and it's great, but this is Mandalorian and Grogu. This is a hit streaming series by all accounts. These are beloved characters, embraced by the majority, I think, of Star Wars fans. So if I got to put my money down on one of these projects being a great big hit and really delivering for the fans, it's got to be this one.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I hear you loud and clear. The groundwork has been laid.
And so has Mrs. Mattaween, apparently.
Well, that's, coming this fall. And, yeah. Good job, Mattaween. We want updates. We want to be there when it happens, actually. I'm picturing an RFR live remote from whatever hospital or, if you want to do it all natural in a bathtub, we'll be there. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, this is really something to look forward to. We've all grown connected to the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. And yeah, I still call it the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. Enough of this Grogu nonsense. At least we've grown beyond the child, which I hated with a passion. Grogu is just fine. Grogu is just fine. But Baby Yoda is the best. And Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, when that hits theaters, it's going to be, I think, something really worth celebrating. And I think a lot of work is still going on this film. And I think there's going to be a very good chance we're going to see an awesome film forged for IMAX, of course, whatever that means. But we'll be there opening day. And I plan on seeing it IMAX opening day. So depending on where we see it, we could see it together. We could see it with a group of Rebel Force Radio listeners. We could make a big event out of it. But again, as Matt Tuween reminds us, we could also conceive and give birth to a child in that same time period. So always in motion, the future is. And when we finally decide on how we're going to celebrate the release of this movie, you guys will be the first to know.
All right. Well, big thanks, by the way, to our call screener, our buddy, Tyler Page. Tyler, thank you. We understand that you had to change some plans to be here tonight. This sort of came up at the last minute, so we really appreciate it. And thank you for being here for us. And I know people had a lot of fun getting to meet you back at Rancho Obi-Wan as well.
Yeah, there was the moment when Jimmy texted me, he's like, hey, we're going to do it live tonight. And I had to do like the math in my head about what, opportunity costs. But now that I'm on the other end of this, I obviously made the right decision to be here with you guys. So it's going to be exciting. And it gives me opportunity to call out two things. I feel like it was not TIE Advance chasing that Razor Crest. I thought those were Vulture droids. From
the Vulture droid.
But
yeah,
it could be right
that's
because
what we were thinking too, actually. Yeah.
Okay. It looked like there was a little bit of they looked a little different. It's hard to see.
Okay, okay.
And I also think that Razor Crest could belong to Zeb. Based off of the footage we saw at Celebration. There's that one scene and Zeb is in the pilot seat. Obviously that could just be whatever, it be a shot randomly where he's just checking it out. But it's a possibility. So.
Well, that would be interesting. I know people were calling out the yellow stripes, saying that might be what identifies it as a Republic ship. So that would make sense that maybe that's something, because I don't know that I see Din being that committed that he's going to outfit his vessel with the markings of the Republic. So it might make sense that comes from...
He was deputized at the end of Mandalorian Season 3. He was legitimately deputized as a Ranger of the New Republic.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see him customizing his ride that way, but I could be wrong. I think he's too much of a rebel. But, yeah, he's definitely got the badge. He can flash the badge.
Yeah. What do you think the odds are we'll see Moff Gideon in this film?
Wow, that's a great question.
Yeah. Slim, but also not slim.
Well, I mean, there's so much.
I think the odds are better we see him than we see Thrawn or Ahsoka or anybody like that. I would definitely put Gideon up there for sure.
Okay, the odds are better than that. But yeah, it's just because of the clone factor.
Hey, by the way, given the fact that Pedro has got top billing on this film, we better see him in this movie.
Oh, I believe
all I gotta say.
Sigourney Weaver definitely hinted that he is actually visible within the film itself in an interview she did a few weeks ago. So
okay. Oh, great. All right.
Definitely said we have Pedro Pascal in this movie, and she wouldn't be just talking in terms of a voiceover.
Yeah.
At least I don't think she would be.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm going to put Grogu at the top of that billing as himself.
You'd have to. And Brendan Wayne.
Right, yeah, and Brendan Wayne and Lateef. Yeah. All right, Tyler, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks,
Have a
Rock,
great rest
Tyler.
of your night. So that's going to do it for us. We'll see you here next week. Rebel Force Radio will be back in its normal format with the pre-recorded podcast. So, and unless something incredible happens, we get a trailer for Starfighter or something. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, as you say, you never know. Please follow us on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, also on X. The YouTube channel has shows like this. All of our live shows archived on YouTube, as well as highlights from our weekly podcast. The full show video is available as a Patreon exclusive. So if you need more RFR in your life and you want exclusive podcasts that you can't get anywhere else, Patreon is the place to get them. Go to patreon.com/Rebel Force Radio, or just go to the Rebel Force Radio website, rebelforceradio.com, and you'll find all the information right there on the right-hand side. There's always something going on over on Patreon. Jim, anything you want to plug on the Patreon side? What's coming up?
Oh, we have a big show with Peter Beiser where he reviews the entire history of Return of the Jedi theatrical poster art, including some exclusive interviews with some of the original artists themselves, along with some interview with Steve Sansweet talking about this kind of thing. And we have a few more Q&As, and I think Babu Freaks are landing this week. So beyond this particular show, there will be a couple of more exclusive podcasts released to RFR on Patreon. And as Jason says, we'll be back next week with the regular weekly Force cast in the Friday night.
Rebel Force Radio.
Fridays.
You just said weekly Force cast.
I'm telling you, man, I got this frog in my throat. I'm just trying to spit out. I'm trying to form a sentence the whole night, man. I said weekly Force cast, just for shits and giggles, why not? But I'll tell you what, whatever you do, don't download that show if you're used to this one. You'll be madly disappointed. And the fact that the Forcecast actually still exists in some way, shape, or form, all of these years later, is like an absolute laughing stock. So, no, and I actually like the guy who runs the Forcecast nowadays. I shouldn't say that. I just think it's audacious that it actually still exists all these years after the originators have long since departed that shit show. So here we are.
It's been a long time.
But again, I have no hang-ups against the guys who currently run the Forcecast. The one guy I know, he's a perfectly wonderful dude. So let me just make that point clear. What else am I going to say? Make it good. I don't Newt Gunray, not in this episode. I'm flailing right now. I'm absolutely flailing.
All right. Well, we will see you next time here on Rebel Force Radio. A lot of great feedback about the live show. We will definitely take that into consideration in the future. We love doing these live shows with you guys. So for Rebel Force Radio and Tyler Page, I'm Jason.
And for the Forcecast, I'm Jimmy Mack.
And remember,
the Force will be with you, always.